The black loam soil of Africa, the fertile one, is where I was created and is where I shall return.
Exactly.
My only worry is about the impact I will have done for its protection for the coming generations.
Okay.
Yes. I confess, with better protection of our land, it shall feed our people, our neighboring continents, and all within.
Are we tired? Yes. Are we angry? Yes. Are we exhausted? Yes. Are we frustrated? Yes. Are we weary? Yes. Are we outraged? Yes. Are we determined? Yes. Are we resolute? Yes. Are we scared? Hell no. Hell no. We're black people. We're people of color. I ain't afraid of you. I'll take you out. Hell no. We are not afraid. We are not scared. We are not scared because we've been here before. This is not new to us. This is not our first trip around the sun. No, we've seen all these schemes. We've seen all of your tricks. And I want you to know that what goes around also comes around. Have I got any warriors in here today? Have I got any Martin Delaney's in here today? Have I got any Harriet Tubmans in here today? Have I got any Sojourner Truths in here today? Have I got any fighters in here today? We ain't scared.
Life is difficult, but you must soldier on. Don't give up. If you are a coward, you don't belong here. But if you fight, even when things are difficult, you keep on fighting. This is your home. Welcome to the home of black people who never give up, who keep on soldiering on. Even when it is difficult, we keep on soldiering on. One day, we shall arrive because we know we have a future. And that future is what we make of it now. No one is going to destroy us because we have an appointment with that future. A very important appointment with the future. And you are not going to stop me into making it into that appointment with the future. No one has to tell them, black people stay here. As they pass, by how dirty the place is, they already know it's black people who stay here. Why do you know it's so dirty? Why is it so dirty? They don't love themselves. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to wear expensive. Just be clean for people to respect you. Because by being clean, you already demonstrate to these people and you are telling them without opening your mouth how they must address you. But if you are going to look like a hobo and then you appear here at the door and say you are a chairperson of Metro who looks like a hobo, but there are two people who came here taking chances like you. That's right.
Africa after decolonization was more or less the forgotten continent. Western countries did not want to engage it for whatever reason. China went in. China treated every African country as brother and sister, and China really invested hugely in Africa. Now, many other countries are talking about engaging with Africa, including the United States, many European countries, India, for example. The more the better, because Africa should not be a monopoly for any other country, not for China, not for anyone else.
In the beginning, there was God, and that God created man, and that spaces was an African. Why I suspect so? Because all creation says that and I suspect that God gave us intelligence, and I suspect that
Despite centuries of slavery, colonization, and neo-colonial operations, Africans have shown remarkable resilience and a refusal to be permanently broken. The history of Africa is a story of struggle, resilience, resistance, and renewal. So, we are oppressed, yes. We are tired. We are heartbroken. A lot happened towards African community, towards a black community. But over decades, Africans have never been able to give up, have refused to be permanently broken. And this is through the deep root of resistance. From the very beginning of colonial conquest, Africans resisted oppressions. Spiritual and cultural strength, traditional African beliefs, languages, and custom gave people a strong sense of identity, even when colonial powers tried to erase them. A lot happened, when we speak about when colonial powers tried to erase them, Africa maybe in the face of the world. But that's when I think that it was like they were planting in the new seeds, the new hopes. And that's why today we are seeing many revolutionary leaders coming out, and they're ready to do anything just to die for the African continent.
The black loam soil of Africa, the fertile one, is where I was created and is where I shall return.
Exactly.
My only worry is about the impact I will have done for its protection for the coming generations.
Okay.
Yes.
And they're ready to make sure that they correct and they reclaim everything that was taken away.
We surrendered not by force, but by faith in foreign fictions. They offered us heaven and we handed them the earth. They say Africa was stolen, colonized, looted, invaded. But the truth is, we didn't just lose Africa, we gave it up one hallelujah at a time.
They're here to make sure that the black man is free, that we erase the system of governance, we erase everything that was introduced here in Africa, which was introduced in a way of just making Africa remain oppressed and being used. When we speak about this, there is things like a historic revolts, like a Haitian revolution in 1791 to 1804, enslaved Africa and Haiti defeated France and created the first free black republic. Mau Mau in Kenya, uprising in 1950s, fought British colonial rule and inspired many independence movements, which today most of them are still there existing. But the problem is that they don't have powers, because these movements had very strong powers. They were very strong until the time the British still came here in Africa or in African countries like Kenya to introduce their system of governance. That's when they disabled these movements like Mau Mau. But this was the best way of African governance. These movements were the only way and the best way that could have led Africa in a way that the whole Africa would have been have equal. If you can remember, during the time of kingdoms, the kings and queens in Africa, where I normally refer to Benin kingdoms, this was a government that tried to refuse. They fight against the white man. The citizens of these kingdoms enjoyed the best life. They were treated equally. The kings and queens were so concerned about their people until the time the white men came in and pretended like they're coming to protect, to add more protection, to introduce new way of governance, which could have been the best compared to these kingdoms. That's when the Africans failed. That's when the Africans thought that they are going to benefit from this, they're going to get more, they're going to add up value in their kingdoms, but what they forgot is that they were going to kill everything that they had before. They were going to destroy all that they built up for many years. In Algerian War of Independence in 1954 to 1962 showed Africa's determination to fight for freedom even against a powerful empire like France. These struggles build up a legacy of never surrendering to foreign control. They never showed an interest of surrendering to the foreign control. Surviving colonial and colonial chains, even after independence, we were tried to control Africa. The West tried to control Africa through puppet leaders and economic dominance. After slave, the African countries gained their independence. But after that, what happened? Because today we are not at gunpoint. No African leader is at gunpoint. But still, the West is still controlling Africa. The West is still controlling Africa without the gunpoint. What do they do to make sure that this is happening? They introduced things which seems to be so sweet to our African leaders. They convinced them. They promised them the best. They promised them the honey. So our African leaders find themselves trapped in. And once they're trapped in, they are given more opportunities. They are being offered loans. They are being offered protection and assured many things. And after that, they're just being used. By the time they come to realize themselves, time is too late. There's people now don't trust them no more. They don't have any access to any place. And now they start to force to lead. They decide to force on how to govern. That's when you see they come in and start even to fight with their citizens. They kill. But what impressed me is that the black people never tired. They never give up. And that's why today, even after they killed or they assassinated our great African leaders, we still have more of African leaders who are coming. And what they're doing is more of all of what the founders or were trying to do. What the courage they're having today, and plus the support they're getting from their people, that is what is making Africa to be stronger than ever before. African thinkers and leaders like Kwame Nkrumah, Thomas Sankara, and Patrice Lumumba inspired the generation to keep resisting even when they were assassinated or overthrown. We always say that the history will always remember the best leaders, but the history cannot remember the bad leaders. Today, the history of Africa remembers the names of Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, Thomas Sankara. Why the history is not remembering about the Mobutu Sese Seko? Why not the history is not remembering the Idi Amin of Uganda? Because these are the leaders who were great. They were great. And all that they were doing is to make sure that they keep Africa strong. All that they were doing is to make sure that they unite all the black community, all the black people around the globe. All they were doing is to make sure that they resist the foreign policies and the foreign powers. All they were doing is to make sure that the black people believes in themselves. The Africans depend on themselves and resist from the foreign policies, because this was the reason as to why the Africans was not able to depend on itself, was not able to resist, was not able to govern itself, because the African leaders were still feeling like or thinking like they must need some people to guide them, to show them on how to govern their countries. And through this, that's when these people were coming, sneaking in African countries, exploiting African countries, take all riches existent in these countries. Today we are having the modern movements like IS, Alliance in the Sahel, show that Africans are still rising against neocolonialism. And the hope through unity is being seen. Africans understand that unity is the ultimate weapon against oppressions. Pan-Africanist leaders like Kwame Nkrumah and Marcus Garvey pushed for African solidarity to break free from Western domination. Modern movements like the Pan-Africanist, the African Continental Free Trade Africa area, the IS in Alliance of Sahel is standing up against French and Western interference and influence. So the black people never given up. Today, just see what is happening in Sahel. See what is happening. See what Ibrahim Traore is doing. Now the world is speaking about the one man, the black person from Africa, a military leader, a coup leader, not democratic, but what he's doing, he's shaking up the world. He's shaking up the Westerns. He's giving the West powers the sleepless night. He is making them uncomfortable. He is doing what was not expected to be done by the black person. He's doing what was only a history, but not the reality. Because all that he's doing, the people who tried to do this was like Patrice Lumumba and Thomas Sankara, but they never did this long. They never stayed long. They were taken down because they could have not been led to continue living or continue leading their countries, because they were the limits. They were the barriers. They were the reasons to why the West powers were not getting all that they used to get from those countries. They were limiting those people not to come and exploit these countries. And once you become a leader and you resist the foreign powers, you expel them from your countries, then it means that they are going to be broke. The economy is going to be shaken. Their reserves are going to be empty, because all that they are getting, which are making them to be famous, to be strong, and to get to have all that they're having in their reserves, they're getting from your countries. So they cannot allow you to stay. They cannot allow you to get more power, to be strong, and to get influence from your people. That's why they have been taking all African leaders who came out and speak about the unity of Africa, all the leaders who are coming out to defend the sovereignty of Africa, all the leaders who are coming out to awaken Africans, telling them the truth, showing them the way that all that we're doing will only cost us, and not only us, but the entire generation of the black community. So they have tried many times to take down Ibrahim Traore, using the fellow Africans, using the intruders, using the white people, using every tactic. But because the guy was well planned, because the Africans already accepted him, because the world recognized his action, because the spirits of Pan-Africans and the African ancestors anointed and stood with him, because of the power of the Almighty and Jah, he is unshakable. He is unstoppable. He is untouchable. So we have every reason to say that Africa is strong enough at this time. We have every reason to say that Africa, after they try to silence it, after they try to cut its roots, after they try to bury all that it has, Africa is still producing the great. Africa is still producing the people who are doing wonders. Youth movements like Young Africans are rising through technology, education, and social media to expose corruption and mobilize change, rejecting foreign exploitation. Countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are expelling foreign troops and reclaiming their resources. Diaspora strength. African abroad are contributing through investments, activism, and spreading awareness of African struggles. The youth are each and every day on the streets. Whenever the West comes out to start to monetize or to threaten our African leaders like Ibrahim Traore, the youth are rising up each and every day. They expose through the social media. And now that's why we came here in the social media to speak out our voices. Because when I sit down today here and speak all that I'm telling you today, there are many people who are watching. And those people who are watching, they're getting something new. They're getting something new. They're adding for all that they know about these things. That's why we are getting more strength. We are getting more pressure on how we can save our continent, how we can support our leaders, how is it able and how is it best for us to resist the foreign influence? How is it good for us to make sure that we dissolve the border issues, we dissolve all the policies that was introduced in Africa? That's why today in Africa, the people are saying that it's better they support the military governments than the democratic leaders, because these democratic leaders has been there for a very long time. But what have they been doing to the people? It's nothing. All that they have been doing is to corrupt, loot and steal the government money, making African youth to suffer because they are not able to get any job opportunities in their countries. They are not able to get any chance to build up their lives. That's the reason as to why the African youth are being forced to go beyond the borders to look for life. The African leaders are the root cause of everything that is happening today in Africa, which are causing the common citizens of Africa not to do anything with his life in Africa. That's why many youths are dying on the oceans, trying to cross the borders to go and maybe look for the green pastures. And when they go and make their destination there in the white man lands, they are suffering a lot. They are not getting any valuable things to do with their life. Some are being used like animals. All this is being caused by the greedy African leaders who don't have anything to do with the Africans or the people they represent. Africans never give up. Africans never give up. Africans have been chained but never defeated. Every generation finds a new way to resist. Yesterday, it was warriors with spears and courage. Today, it's education, unity, technology, and political awakening. Tomorrow, Africa will rise fully when leaders serve their people instead of foreign matters. Can I repeat this? Africans have been chained but never defeated. Every generation find a new way to resist. Yesterday, it was warriors with spears and courage. Today, it's education, unity, technology, and political awakening. And tomorrow, Africa will rise fully when leaders serve their people instead of foreign masters. That's why today, all Africans are fighting against the puppet leaders. The puppet leaders have no more chance to serve Africans because Africans are tired, oppressed, and it's time to say that enough is enough and we are not going to allow this to happen no more. Until next time, just tell me to have the comment section. If this is your first time, kindly press that subscription button, turn on notification so that we can keep on speaking and coming here to know and to reason together to think on how we can save our continent, how we can make things, how we can change the system, how we can change the narrative. Let's meet on the comment section and really know what do you think about these issues. We have to do this because it concerns us. We are Africans, the black people who never give up until we achieve our agendas, and the agenda is the unity, unity, unity. That's all. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. Don't forget to come back again. I love you wherever you are watching from. Thank you.